Your office has $1 million leak, not in the plumbing, not in the budget, in your inbox. A tech executive named Tom Cochran once tracked every email sent and received inside his company and calculated the true labor cost. The number was over £1 million a year. On email alone, a tool everyone assumed was free had quietly become expensive, and most organizations never measure it now. You will see three invisible forces damaging your ability to do deep work: open offices, instant messaging, and the pressure to be constantly visible online. They sound modern, efficient, collaborative. But together they fracture attention before real thinking can begin. And the most disturbing part is this: your company may reward the behaviors that make you less productive, because looking busy is easy to see. Deep work is not. The first trend is the open office. It was supposed to improve collaboration, but every conversation, every movement, every ringing phone becomes a tiny interruption. You may not notice it, but your brain does. Second, instant messaging. Slack, Teams, group chats. The expectation that you respond quickly creates a workplace where everyone interrupts everyone else all day. The third trend is social media visibility. You are expected to post, respond, engage, and stay visible. But every minute spent performing availability is a minute not spent producing value. Three trends, all celebrated, all hostile to focus. So, why does nobody stop it? Because most companies do not measure the cost. Cal Newport calls this the metric black hole. It means the damage caused by distraction and the value created by deep focus are hard to quantify. Nobody counts how many deep work hours were lost to meetings. Nobody calculates the value of the idea that never happened because someone was answering email. That is why Cochran's experiment mattered. The shocking part was not just the £1 million number, it was that almost nobody had bothered to calculate it before. If damage is invisible, the behavior continues. Unchecked, unchallenged, normalized. Now here is the psychological engine underneath it all. Newport calls it the principle of least resistance. When people lack clear feedback about what creates value, they default to whatever is easiest. Sending an email is easier than solving a problem yourself. Scheduling a meeting is easier than deciding alone. Checking messages is easier than sitting with a difficult idea. Nobody does this because they are lazy. It happens because the easier option feels productive. Every email gives a tiny sense of progress. Every meeting feels like movement. But slowly, your day fills with activity that looks like work while leaving no room for what matters. Harvard professor Leslie Perlow studied this problem at Boston Consulting Group. The consultants were connected constantly. Nights, weekends, phones beside their beds. They believed this was necessary for high performance. Then Perlow helped teams disconnect for protected time. People resisted. They feared clients would suffer. They feared work quality would drop. But the opposite happened. Satisfaction improved, communication improved, quality improved. What everyone feared losing had been weakening them. Constant connectivity was not the secret to performance. It was often the obstacle. This is where the problem gets personal. In factory work, productivity was visible. You could count the products, but in knowledge work, the most valuable activity is often invisible. Thinking, writing, designing, solving. You cannot easily watch insight happen, so people replace real productivity with visible activity. They answer emails late at night to signal dedication. They fill calendars to signal importance. They respond instantly to signal reliability. But this is not productivity, it is performance. And the performance can consume the energy needed for the real thing. So here is where you stand. You may be working inside a system that rewards shallow activity and punishes concentration. It cannot easily measure deep work, so it rewards what it can see: messages, meetings, availability, speed. But Cochran measured the hidden cost. Perlow proved constant connection was not always necessary, and Newport named the deeper problem. The system mistakes busyness for value. So the question is not whether you should work harder. The question is whether you are producing real value or simply performing productivity. Close the inbox. Protect the focus. Stop performing. Start producing. Your best work begins when the noise stops.